All the motherland stands behind me.
Indeed it does, but the camera does not. Apparently it runs away from you. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name is Juggernaut. This is well, once again, a relatively short little Let's Play, just like the one for Rome Remastered, in Total War Warhammer 3. However, you might have noticed that the map looks a little bit different. Well, what is this, Juggernaut Realms of Chaos? No, this is the Old World by Chaos Robbie. The Old World is a campaign map mod for, well, basically kind of for Immortal Empires, right? Where instead of having the whole of the Warhammer world in front of you, you have well, the whole, not really the whole world, but the whole world that CA has created for us thus far. Instead of having that, the game focuses just on the old world. So here's the Norscan mountains up in the north, the Chaos Wastes, and then you have the old world down here. We have Kislev, we have the Empire, Altdorf, etc., etc. We don't have Ulthuan. This is basically just, though we do have the Badlands down here, and I think we also get, not sure how far down towards Araby it goes. I'm not that familiar with Warhammer lore and stuff, but it goes pretty far down as well. Here's the Mootland, for example, the borders of the Empire around here. Anyways, as I was saying, the game focuses on just the old world, and most legendary lords are playable within this campaign, though not all of them. You have all races available to you, I believe, though. Anyways, we're going to be playing as Kislev and Tsarina Katerin, and the idea is basically, to do what Kislev does, to unify all the different oblasts and the gospodars of, I love the Kislevite language, of blend of like different Slavic languages and stuff. Anyways, to unify all the oblasts of Kislev and to basically kick the Norscans out of off of this river first, and then kick them all the way from Troll County, and establish our border along this river, and yeah, be the northern bastion of the Empire that we're supposed to be. So, anyways, with all that said, I do want to tell you that I'm using a couple of mods. Mostly it's UI stuff. I'm using a camera mod that lets me zoom in further, just a couple of convenience things. The gameplay is basically vanilla. There's nothing that changes any of the unit stats or adds new units or anything like that. It's basically just a map mod. As far as the gameplay mechanics are concerned, you do have the Ice Court, the Motherland over here. All of these things are just like in vanilla. The only difference is the campaign map that we're playing on itself. And the campaign map is really, really good because of the geographic features, I would say. What it lacks in detail in terms of, the actual land textures and stuff, even, I mean, I say that, it looks pretty neat, right? But what it may lack in some of the tightly compacted detail of the Immortal Empires campaign, it makes up for, right? It more than makes up for with the sheer size of geographic features that actually matter. For example, crossing a river like this is now difficult, and there are different choke points and stuff like that. It's really, really, really good, and I pretty much prefer this to Immortal Empires nowadays, hands down, which is why I decided to play it for you, and there's fewer videos of this mod than of Immortal Empires on the internet, so there you go. Anywho, let's begin. So, I'm going to run you through the Kislevite campaign and the Kislevite mechanics a little bit as we sort of encounter them. First order of business is the capital itself. We start off with just Kislev in this mod, and we need to, well, first of all, we need to fight the Peasant Council, which is opposing Tsarina Katerin, and we need to beat them off our lands and unify the Urskoy River province. And once we've done that, we can actually start moving on towards, well, we're probably not going to fight towards the south. Maybe we're going to fight the Red Eye tribe. Maybe we're going to move north to fight the Gromfang and sort of head this way. I'm going to try and roleplay a little bit and try and not fight any of the Kislevite lords. I'm going to try and unify them peacefully and be a good queen. And to that end, let's get our first trade deal. Oh, I am using a mod that lets me have more trades, more trade deals. Well, basically lets everyone have more trade deals, right? Anyways, So we will see how that goes. The difficulty I'm playing on is normal. Yeah, I know, it's not legendary, I know. I don't have a lot of experience with Warhammer 3, and I'm going to get into our first battle over here. It's just as soon as I see whether we have a hero of some description. I don't think we do. Yeah, we don't. I'm pretty sure we just attack here. Alright. It's not going to be an easy... Well, it's probably going to be a fairly easy battle, but I'm going to run you through some of my kind of experience with Warhammer 3. I've played a ton of Warhammer 2, Warhammer 3 not so much. However, generally speaking, I find that difficulty in the more modern CA games, where you just blatantly give the AI a whole bunch of cheats, is a little bit... It's not really my thing. I don't like the fact that the AI, that I know that the AI has like double the economy that I do, not because they have more settlements or a better organized economy, it's because of cheats. They just get more base stacks from everything. I don't like that. I prefer to challenge myself in a slightly different way. I prefer to roleplay a little bit, to give myself different challenges and stuff like that. For example, here I'm going to try and... you know, not declare war on fellow Kislevites, even though that sometimes would be the objectively best choice to do for the campaign. And on top of that, the other way the game artificially inflates its difficulty is just by spamming doom stacks in the endgame crisis. Other than that, the increased difficulty doesn't really matter all that much. I mean, that, unless you're counting giving the AI stat bonuses in combat, which I also dislike, because it doesn't just provide extra difficulty, it just changes the game fundamentally. For those who don't know, one of the difficulty options is to give the AI more stats compared to your units in the game. I really dislike that. I mean, I really dislike that, because I think it's just not really great. Oh, they're gonna shoot at single entity units now, okay. I didn't do that. Well, anyways, let's do that. This is gonna take a little bit. Yeah, that angered them, and now they're gonna come towards me. Alright. That's what I wanted. So anyways, like I said, I don't really like the way difficulty is formulated. I'd much rather have my own challenges, and even on top of all of that, past turn 20 to 30 is, you'd be shocked by this, perhaps, where most people stop playing the game. I do have some actual statistics to back this up, but a lot of campaigns are abandoned after 20 to 30 turns in this game, because the initial challenge, the initial setting up of your campaign, so the first province, the first few battles, the first few challenges are the most difficult. After that, you start snowballing. Granted, you could lose a few important armies later and have some challenges, and it can turn into a disaster campaign, absolutely, but for the vast majority of people, they either save scum at that point, and I apologize for the somewhat rude language, but it is convenient, not convenient, but it is sort of standard in, I guess, the community. And that's just where you just reload the previous save to stop yourself from losing the battle, right? Or stop yourself from getting in that situation. So they do that, or alternatively, they just abandon the campaign there, I suppose. But if you don't do either of those things, then yeah, rebuilding can be a bit of a challenge again, but the vast majority of the time, after the first 20 or 30 turns, is where the campaign stops being interesting for a lot of people. And I understand that, which is why I want to prevent that in a more organic sort of way. And, well, I guess the only thing I can say is trust me on this. I'm going to have a lot more fun playing on a difficulty that seems a little bit more fair, even though the AI still gets some cheats, but we'll talk about that. I think they get global recruitment as a cheat, and obviously they get vision. They can see everything on the map. But yeah, anywho, that my idea was basically to do. We got out of some of it. Didn't realize they had a wizard. Alright. You get those Kossars, and that's going to be a bit of a problem, but I think we can stop it. Okay, Serena's going to take a I was going to say she's going to take a pounding, but not in that sense. That just reminded me of a different video that I saw the other day on the internet. Oh, you were watching videos of pounding, Juggernaut, will you? Well, I was watching a video of the United States President describe how a soldier in the US Army was getting pounded daily, and the man struggled with all his might to not let out a chuckle, and he almost did it. He almost succeeded. Okay, we're losing a lot of men because I'm, honestly, because I'm being a bit silly. But we have some Kosovite dervishes that I would like to eliminate. I'm going to send the leopard after them. It's not a leopard, it's a... Yeah, it is a snow leopard, I got that right. That's a bit late, but okay. Jesus Christ, the ice magic from both sides is... Okay, yeah, shoot him. We're probably going to get replenishment after this anyway, so... It's not the end of the world, but... Yeah. It's close to it. We have armored Kossars against armored Kossars. These guys are going to need some help. Okay, and do I need to do anything else? Yeah, I need to send the leopard after their Ice Queen. I saw that. I saw that. I'm going to try and get out of the way of it. Relatively successfully, too. Alright. Cool. And that should be army losses for our enemy, but, man, that was... It's actually not that much in the way of casualties. Katrina took a... Well, an already mentioned, I suppose, pounding, right? But, everything else seems fine. Let's go and surround her. I'll surround the enemy's lord. And actually make sure you guys aren't firing on friendly troops. Let's keep going. I do want to kill her. She is slowed, so that will be a not so difficult task, although I think I have to actually click. Yeah, make sure we are attacking her, and it's going to take a second, but there we go. Alright, so, decisive victory for our first battle. Like I said, I don't have a lot of experience playing Warhammer 3, but I generally have a feel for a lot of the factions. I've played for, about 50 hours of it, maybe, or so. 50 to 100 hours, let's say. But in Warhammer 2, I do have, like, 1,000 or so-ish, so definitely a lot more versed in that one, and in Warhammer 1, I've played also, I don't know, 1,000 hours or so, maybe a bit less, a fair bit of time, though. Okay, so I think it's not a lot of money. I think I'm going to go with army replenishment,
To the mines,
because I want to keep going, and I want to get over to Kislev immediately and take over that settlement. Right, Route Marcher we're going to get, but not immediately. I'd rather get this instead, because it will be more useful for the upcoming battle. And there's our first thingamajig, but our first quest. But before we get to the Battle of Kislev, I do want to, well, for one, maybe apologize for some of the pronunciation. Not that it will be incorrect, but it'll sound weird to some Anglophone ears. Thing is, I'm Slavic, right? I'm from Kislev in the Warhammer sense. And so I really can't pronounce... what was it? There were some things here. There was like... yes, there was the Druzhina cavalry. At least I think it's a cavalry. I've never played Kislev, by the way. I know of the mechanics. I've played like one turn of the well, actually, technically, I've played 5 turns of the Immortal Empires campaign as Kislev, but I've never actually played through the actual thing. I just did it to get used to the faction and to realize what I'm doing, so I'm not going in completely blind for you guys that have already played the game, so I can provide a little bit of an introduction. But I am mostly going into this relatively blind, so with that said, I know how some of the mechanics work, and I'll get to them in a little bit, but about the pronunciation. I kind of want to apologize for it because I think a lot of people will find it a little bit annoying. Oh, you're just putting on the accent for the pronunciation. I don't know how to pronounce it any other way. It just feels unnatural, right? Imagine having to pronounce cold with a soft C every time you look at it, because that's how, you know, the universally accepted dialect is. It just feels wrong. You're going to say cold a lot of the time unconsciously or subconsciously, right? So in that sense, yeah, I'm not going to call them the Druzina, whatever, cavalry. I'm not going to call the Kosovites. Well, I think that's actually fairly same across the board. But you get the Gospodar, for example, or Oblast, or so on and so forth. It's my native language, goddammit, and it's really difficult to pronounce it in these weird ways that you've heard only a couple of times, and you've been saying Gospodar for, or actually Gospodar, but I'll try and do with a bit of a more Eastern accent, let's say. But anyways, it's difficult to force yourself to pronounce things differently than how you've been pronouncing them your entire life, is my point. So I apologize for it, but, you know, it also sounds so cool, right? Urskoy River, Ataman, yeah, and so on and so forth. All gameplay elements that I will go through a little bit, little bit by bit, right, as we sort of play through the campaign. But for now, let's take a look at the Motherland. So, the Motherland in Immortal Empires is actually a lot more important than in the Old World. Vice versa, right? In the Old World, is a lot more important than in Immortal Empires, because the opposing faction, the Great Orthodoxy, actually holds more territory here and tends to survive a little bit longer. Basically, we are wrestling for control over Kislev with the Great Orthodoxy. Ever since the Great Bear, which is the god of Kislev, disappeared, the Great Orthodoxy has been taking over, and currently we both start off at 0 supporters. Our actions, buildings, battles, invocations, different things we can do will add to our supporters until eventually we get to here. As the player, you will confederate your political opponent. Or rather, I think this isn't correct. I think you'll be given the chance to confederate your political opponent, so you will be offered to confederate. I don't think it'll force you. I think it used to force you in the past. I think with the later updates, it now gives you a choice of whether you want to confederate the Great Orthodoxy or not. Obviously want to, but it's still nice that it gives you a choice. You have Devotion, which needs to be in supply in order to stop chaos from incurring on your lands, and you can invoke different things here, which will basically give you various buffs, and for example, 5 supporters when occupying a settlement. I'm going to invoke that immediately, and you get a really cool ice effect around the edges of the screen. I love that. And now every time we occupy a settlement, we're going to get extra supporters, and that will be all lovely. Also causes attrition on our territory, etc, etc. Okay, so that's the Motherland and this whole chase here. We also have the Ataman system, which we're going to get into later. We also have the Ice Court, which we don't need a new candidate right now, but later down the line you pay some money and you basically get to tailor a Frost Maiden for yourself. You get to choose which stats it gets and so on and so forth, rather than just like most factions clicking on Recruit a Hero and picking the best one that the game gives for you. This way you get to sort of customize it a little bit, which is really cool. Okay, I'm going through this quickly because I don't want the first episode to be like one battle and then nothing else. But I want to go through all the different mechanics and stuff like that. There's going to be an easier fight than the previous one. Game gives the advantage to the AI because of the because it's technically a siege battle. But anyways, yeah. So before we get into that, though, I do want to take a moment of your time to talk about Kislev, our Lord and Savior. No, seriously. Let me take a sip of coffee first. Lovely. Okay. So, Kislev. The Motherland, this region is experiencing a storm. Interesting, I didn't... Oh. I've never heard this music. It's bloody gorgeous. Hope it isn't copyrighted. Jesus, that is bloody gorgeous. Okay, I could just sit here for about 5 minutes listening to that. I don't want to do that for the video, though. What I do want to talk about, in terms of the actual capital of Kislev, in the town itself, is... Here's the thing. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 landmark buildings that all need to be built. Because this one gives me alliance with the Empire, this one, they're all very useful, right, for the campaign itself, for the strategic part of the campaign. That means, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4 landmarks. This will provide some construction bonuses and some, some recruitment options as well, like here, upkeep options, etc., etc. What if I want to build support buildings in Kislev as well? Well, there's 3 of those, or advanced support buildings, advanced military buildings. There's 3 of those. So 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives me 2 recruitment slots. These 2 buildings will go over here in these settlements. There's 1 more. And that's it. I get like 1 extra building of my choosing from the economy tab. This means I need to get rid of this building as soon as possible, and hopefully build it over here.
At once.
But as much as this will be the best possible course of action in sort of the far distant future, and in terms of the long-term plans, this will be best to have the simple buildings, the tier 3 buildings in the tier 3 settlements, and higher tier buildings in the higher tier settlements. I can't really do that because I need these units. I need the armoured Kossars to be my front line, and I need a couple more of them at least. And obviously a whole bunch of archers in the back. That's sort of the army composition I'm thinking of right now. I love playing with archers in pretty much all factions that have good archers. And Kislev definitely classifies. So, basically, the idea for the campaign is to have the Urskoy River province be the recruitment hub for Kislev. So this is where we're going to have all our advanced military buildings, all our recruitment buildings, and we're going to make all our armies here. If we happen to lose a unit out in the field somewhere fighting the Norskans over here, we'll just use global recruitment to get it back. Every other province in Kislev, and in the world pretty much, other than this one, is going to be dedicated to the economy. And that's generally how you want to play the Warhammer 3. You want 1 province for recruitment. There's no reason to have 2 unless they're miles apart, right? Unless you have 1 here and maybe 1 over here. Unless they're super far away, then you generally speaking want to have just 1 province dedicated to recruitment. Everything else feeds the economy of war. And then you just use local recruitment to build armies here, and global recruitment to replenish armies, and if you lose units and so on and so forth. So that's what I want to do, but in order to do that, it does require me to have a bit of a slower start. However, I'll see at what point exactly I demolish the initial recruitment building and sort of hamper myself. By the way, if there's a coffee brand that would like to sponsor these videos, I'm more than welcome to the idea. Because I've realized that recently I've been drinking a lot more of it, and on videos sometimes, but what can I say? Part of adulthood, I guess. You have trouble waking up, you have trouble focusing, and, well, it helps. Although, I will say, don't drink coffee when you're waking, or just as you wake up. It'll, you're sabotaging yourself more than anything else. Wait for about an hour or 2 and then have one. Much better at doing what it's supposed to. I say that most of the coffee I drink would not pass for coffee with people that actually like coffee. It will pass off as a slightly weird tasting juice, but yeah, look, to each his own. Alright, we're going to do pretty much the same thing as we did previously. I hope you don't mind, but I do like to tease the AI a little bit. Get them to waste their ammunition like this a little bit. I don't really wait for them to deplete all their arrows. I think that's a bit too much, even though it is possible. Although I think on the highest difficulty level on Legendary, they don't shoot at single entity targets. Or maybe that's changed. I don't know. I think there was word that they're going to remove our ammo wasting like this as the thing. Maybe that's for the higher difficulty levels, maybe not. Either way, I don't want to do it. Instead, just want to use the magic of the Ice Queen a little bit to do some damage to the enemy, and in siege battles, which this technically is, despite there not being an actual siege, it's just a field battle. In siege battles like this, the AI is a lot more passive, so... yeah, unfortunately I can't really see the arrows, and as a result I'm gonna lose my Legendary Lord if I continue doing this. Yikes. Okay, well they are coming to get me, I think. Yeah. Okay. You've done enough, Katrina. Let's get you out of there. I don't want to lose too much HP on her. Done a little bit of damage to 2 enemy units. Let's get them to move towards us. Oh, I did not mention this, but I am using a lighting overhaul mod. And I think it's bloody gorgeous. The mod itself, I think, is something like 2 megabytes, so it just tweaks the lighting settings a little bit. I think the game looks like 5 times nicer with this lighting. The lighting in the original game looks too cartoonish, like it's too vibrant, too bright, and yet at the same time it's not like vibrant colors themselves. It's like it has these weird light shafts, and like the ground tends to glow, and then there's the purple background for some reason in a lot of regions. It's just weird and I hate it. This one though, significantly better, I would say. So these are Cossars with spears. I don't want to send my cavalry against them. I think I want to do something like this instead. Okay, lovely. And then we can get actual melee combat over here, and we should be able to beat them with armored Cossars relatively easily. We'll also do some damage to the unit in the back too. Yeah, that was really nice. Alright. Like I said, the Kossar units, with the help of the Ice Guard and the archers, should do really good against these guys. And that's not exactly army losses, but it's close already. How do I want to deal with this? I think they did spread out a little bit, but that's fine. So I've seen a couple of posts on Reddit. I really hate this. Some of the units just forget their orders way too often. So I've seen a couple of posts on Reddit about the best archers in Warhammer. And to this day, maybe this is just a sign of my inexperience with the new one, but to this day, I swear by the Sisters of Avalon. However, I've seen the Ice Guard come up in conversation. And the fact that they come up in conversation at all is kind of fascinating to me, right? I don't know if it's right or not. I've seen posts about it, but just the very fact that they come up in conversations sometimes gives me hope, right? Like I said, I really like archers in this game. It feels like they just do a ton of damage, and it just feels nice to just melt away enemy units and lines as they're sort of approaching you without having to get down and dirty with them and actually start losing your own men in doing that, so yeah. Anyways, brings me no joy to be killing Kislevites like this, but the Peasant Council does need to be eliminated if I am to ascend to the throne, as they say. We did take some damage here, but I think we're going to get a nice chunk of replenishment after the battle. There we go, decisive victory. Oh, we've suffered like 10 losses, that's nothing. Alright, pretty good. So, Let's see here. I do have the game on an NVMe drive, but loading times are not ideal. That said, it is loading like 500 regions each time I do this. Yeah, so there you go. Griffin banner, I guess I can give that to the leopard, although... sorry, did I lose 2 supporters? Using the invocation allows Kislev to sway its populace into becoming supporters of the cause.
My frozen kingdom expands.
Huh. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Are we losing supporters because I'm fighting Kislevites? Was that? Don't know what the game's trying to tell me, because it is. That's...
I do it for Kislev.
Yeah, not ideal. Okay. Well, anyways, I'm gonna make these videos a little bit longer, I think, because I really enjoy playing this game. So let's do a couple of turns. First big choice in Kislev. What do I want to build? So basically it falls down to this: economy buildings or military buildings. I don't like the cavalry. I mean, it's missile cavalry. It's missile cavalry at level 2. That can be fine. And then I have the winged lancers at level 3, which is a tier 2 unit. I have the winged lancers already, and I'm not the biggest fan of them. They're good against some early game stuff, but I think later down the line they're not going to be that great. Plus, I don't think they're going to play well with Lord herself, or with Serena herself, so you get to pick one of these later, and I really want to go with firing drills, and then probably best of the court, because it'll because both of these will boost Ice Guard units, I think, right? Or no? No, these just boost the Cossars, but yeah, either way, I feel like I want to go with one of these. Like I'm not sure if I want Beasts of the Land, but like, yeah, probably best of the court and fun firing drills, and then focus everything else on ice magic.
With this,
so cavalry not really a fit for this army. Maybe for an army in the future, but for now, I feel like that's out of the question. Do I want to build a Kossar hut instead and focus on getting that to level 2 as quickly as possible? Considering I currently have 0 population, that is going to take 7 turns to get 1 population. I might want to get that in one of these buildings, or one of these settlements, and then get to this building as soon as possible, and then sort of grow things slowly from there.
None shall question me.
Maybe? Because this is the thing, Kislev starts off with a good bit of money. Not right now, but you'll see as we're playing, we're going to get a good chunk of money. Of course, a tribal encampment. Now the Ungol district, right? Yeah, so going for an Ungol district would also not be bad. It'll increase growth by a lot. Okay, tell you what, we're going to go with a Kossar hut. I'm not going to demolish this hut yet, because I want to recruit some Kossar archers. We don't need more armored Kossars at the beginning. We have 3 units. The Ice Guard can hold as a frontline force too. They're pretty good at both. So I basically have 4 units of frontline troops. The Winged Lancers, yeah, you generally don't want to use them as such, but you can. Katrina herself can hold the line a little bit, and the Leopard, we saw how it doesn't really do great at holding the line. It sort of lets people go through, but it's fine, right? I think we're going to go with that. And then, obviously, I'm going to leave this open. Where am I? No, I'm going to build... Tell you what, I'm going to build a tribal encampment in Kislev. There you go. That's my one free building that I get from tier 1 to tier 5. One building of my choice, everything else is pretty much already reserved, shall we say. Okay, good. I like that. I like the strategy that we have so far. What I don't like is what I'm going to have to do after I'm done unifying my initial province. And that is, I'm going to have to pick where I want to go.
None shall question me.
So I'm assuming that the peasants are going to set up an army over there.
Move. I command.
Which kind of makes me want to go over there and fight them immediately, but
Kneel
it's kind of
before
far away. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Born to rule.
Ah, that was stupid. I should have stopped there.
Only when I
Horse march isn't going to help.
together we serve
Never
the
mind.
motherland.
That was stupid. I could have recruited 2 more archers while doing that. Now I'm just making my own life more difficult. Oh, that was really stupid. I should have stopped there at the border so I can recruit 2 more archer units before I go into battle. Not that I need them for this battle, but I'm going to need them for fighting at Inkodevna.
They are one people.
Right. Kirnoka says close victory. I have to fight this manually as well, because I'm going to take too many casualties otherwise. But I like these battles. You know, you get magic, you get all sorts of units, and now we have a couple more archers to play around with, so, yeah. I like this a lot, it's just that, it's a bit samey, because it's the exact same army composition, or at least enemy army composition, as previously, but, yeah. Alright. Look at that, this is so much nicer, and the snow, also the ground, isn't completely blinding white, too, and, man... I cannot recommend the lightning. Okay, the lightning. I cannot recommend the lighting mod enough. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, tell you what, let's get that sort of thing going and start deployment and go. I think we're going to move all of our units up on this hill now and probably hide these guys in the trees. Never mind. Well, actually, I can still hide them in the trees. It's just that, I need to move a little bit like so. Am I going to be out of their range? Yeah, just, apparently. Okay. Or no? Oh, they're moving forward. Not really. Okay, that's fine. Gossar spears, Gossar spears. Gossar spears in the middle should be fairly soft, right? Yeah. So you go straight down the middle. And let's get all of you into this kind of formation.
The queen marches.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot of arrows. I mean, I'd rather them shoot at Katerin than anyone else. But at the same time, I'd rather not get shot at all. Okay, that's good. Our guy here keeps forgetting orders. I don't like how the leopard keeps forgetting orders. Like, every time I tell him, you know, go eat someone, he eats like one person. He's like, okay, I'm fed. That's it. Oh, what, war? What do you mean? No, I've had enough. Okay, let's help Scattering out, and let's get these guys. Right. Melee. And there you go, like, winged lancers are now currently losing against, what was it, archers? Yeah. Not what I would call ideal. Let's see how much damage this does to... Did almost no damage to the snow leopard. Right, lovely. I mean, for real, you've lost half your HP to a unit of archers that you were fighting. Fair enough, it had support. It's not like it was just a unit of archers and you were stuck there for a little bit, but that is way too much to lose just fighting some archers. Like, you're supposed to break them a long time ago. Let's just say, and that never really materialized for you, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay. I think that should be army losses any minute now. Yep, that is indeed army losses, and there we go. All out because I don't want that. Did I use you in melee accidentally instead of... Yeah, I did. That's fine, you're gonna get some experience. Not ideally managed. I tried to get through the battle as quickly as I can without having to finagle too much. And I know that I'm going to have a few turns of replenishment until I get to my next fight, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah. Anyways. Let's see what we get for our troubles. And it's an opportunity to see how the supporters thing will work for me taking over Kislev, or fighting Kislevites, basically. Yeah, it says reward supporters -2, probably because I'm fighting the Peasant Council. Just occupy it, and let's check. Yep, 8. So that's 5 for occupying a settlement, and then -2 for fighting Kislevites. And the Great Orthodoxy has 8 as well. Ooh. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, beating the Great Orthodoxy this time around. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult than in, whatchamacallit, than in Immortal Empires. Which is good, I wanted that to be a bit more of a challenge. Okay, 2 more units of Kossars, we can't move this turn, and then I think that's about it. Next turn, 312 factions, by the way. 312 factions in Immortal Empires at the start. Granted, by turn 10, it's probably going to be like 250 or something, but still, 312 factions. Impressive, to say the absolute least. Alright, Kislev, you are getting the Kossar hut up to a level 2, which is a... Shataz, right? That should be what it's called. I'm not all that well versed in the lore of Warhammer Fantasy. Warhammer 40k, you can ask me anything you want, but Warhammer Fantasy, not so much. I'd love to get into it, but only so much time a man has on his hands every single day, right? I didn't recruit anything this turn. I force marched down here. I think it's important to get here faster rather than recruit a whole bunch of archers. Although 2 more would probably be helpful. I don't think I can get here in 1 turn, so I'm going to get 2 more anyway. And then I didn't mention this, but we did get Market Square in Kirnokas, so very useful, obviously. Get those economy numbers up even further. Oh, that reminds me, Griffinwood, right? That's gonna be nasty. Dryka lives there and she's a bitch. Yes, I was preparing that joke probably the entire video. Look, it's okay. Just let me have this one. No, it's true though. She is a bitch. Literally speaking. Here's the thing though. What do we research next? I went with growth. That was very important. That's not so good. That's pretty good. I like that. Then we have Gospodar Governance. Cost for hallowed wood buildings. That's alright. War sleds I don't really use. This is pretty good, but it takes longer. Ice Queens I already start off with, so don't need that yet. Weapon strength for Snow Leopard and Thing in the Woods. I don't think I have Thing in the Woods. I think that's what's Shadow of Change. Casualty replenishment rate and growth for Convalescence. I think that's going to be a lot better than unit buffs right now. Yeah, like I said, I can't get to the other place in one turn. They have 7 units. Okay. And it's pretty much going to be all Kossars, right? These ones with spears, these ones with just regular Kossars. Okay, that's going to be an easy fight too. Which will happen next episode. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all next time. Please do remember to like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video, and we'll stay tuned with the rest of the series and the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. And if you're feeling particularly generous, there are ways of directly supporting the channel, both through my Patreon and channel memberships options down below. It is highly appreciated, but by no means feel compelled to do so, although all the proceeds, so far at least, go towards making more videos and making better videos for you guys. But regardless, just watching the video is more than enough support for me. Like I said, this is just if you're feeling a little bit extra generous. Thank you all. I will see you all hopefully in another video. Until then, please do remember, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.